Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kudlow. I'm Larry Kudlow. So, yes, Virginia, there is a higher power. The anti-capitalist, anti-fossil fuel Sarah Bloom Raskin has withdrawn her name from the Federal Reserve's vice chair for bank supervision. Ms. Raskin tried the old Biden ploy of lying her way through her confirmation hearings, skewing falsehood after falsehood. During the height of the pandemic in 2020, however, she wrote that the Fed should do all they can to allocate capital away from carbon and fossil fuels. She put this in writing and in many speeches. And yet, of course, during her recent confirmation hearings, she tried to falsehood her way through it. She is, by the way, exactly the sort of person who should not have even been nominated for that position. But in the Biden administration, key appointments are judged on one's radical zeal against fossil fuels. Climate extremism permeates every single Biden policy, both domestic and foreign. So bravo to Senator Pat Toomey, who led a walkout of 11 Republican Banking Committee senators so a vote couldn't even be taken. By the way, Raskin also had some ethical problems, being on the board of a Colorado fintech company that was the only such firm to get access to the coveted Fed master account, meaning the transactions wire. She used her pull from prior government positions, and the Kansas City Fed besmirched themselves by trying to stall the release of that information. And then finally, Joe Manchin, who has been so good on so many issues, essentially ended her nomination by declaring a no vote and made the statement, and I'll quote, "Ms. Raskin's previous public statements have failed to satisfactorily address my concerns about the critical importance of financing and all the above energy policy to meet our nation's critical energy needs," end quote. So, Toomey and Manchin, a good team. But the bigger problem still remains. Biden's war against fossil fuels is going to continue. He never misses an opportunity to accuse them of excess profits and price gouging. His press secretary doesn't understand the importance of pipelines that are necessary to transport the oil and the gas from point A to point B. Biden's regulatory octopus centers on climate change zealots in charge of all these agencies like FERC, Interior Department, Energy, EPA, and, of course, the White House. Biden has thrown such a heavy, wet blanket over the entire fossil fuel industry that we are still producing 1.5 million barrels a day less than 2 years ago. And that shortfall is the principal reason why world oil prices and gasoline prices at the pump have shot up well before Vladimir Putin's invasion of the Ukraine. Biden has amnesia about that first year, which now includes an 8% consumer price index and a 10% producer price index. Biden blames the pandemic, supply chains, Putin, the man on the moon. Blames all that for inflation. But it was supposed to be temporary, remember? The reality, however, is his own deficit spending policies and easy money from the Fed, along with energy supply shortages, are the real homegrown Biden policy-driven causes of inflation. Meanwhile, at the Fed, they'll probably raise their target rate by 1/4 percentage point tomorrow. But that is such a futile gesture for a basic inflation that's no less than 6% and maybe moving towards 10. Biden's other nominees to the central bank will probably get through a vote. Jay Powell will continue as chair and will be as confused as ever about inflation or economic growth incentives or the importance of quantitative easing and the money supply. The new vice chair will be Lael Brainerd, who repeatedly in congressional hearings refused to accept the label of a capitalist. And then there's Lisa Cook from Michigan State, who believes America is racist, white supremacist, and she pushes for slavery reparations. So I'm not expecting much out of the central bank. Look, we're in the middle of an international crisis over Ukraine. We are going head-to-head with Russia, which is our enemy. We should be using every means at our disposal to defeat the enemy. We don't need troops on the ground. We need to drill, drill, drill. We need to lift all the restrictions on oil, gas, LNG exports, pipelines, and financing. In the middle of this crisis, climate czar John Kerry speaks to a big energy confab in Houston, And he talks about the urgent need to spend the next 10 years ending fossil fuels. He frets publicly about his worries that the Russian invasion of the Ukraine would somehow slow his climate crusade. This is not national security. This is inanity, pure dumb. It is contrary to American interests, betting against our national security. It just can't be that hard to understand an all-of-the-above energy policy that seeks to expand our energy base, not to destroy 80% of it. There's nothing wrong with wind turbines or solar panels, but almost every serious person knows that in the next 50 to 100 years, the energy solution is going to be natural gas and nuclear power. The Bidens are opposed to both. So I'm going to ask, are the Bidens trying to help America, or are they trying to harm it? That's my question, and that's my riff.